Hey, you guys. Welcome back to the Prosperity Podcast. I am your host, Samia, and I'm here with my special guest, Tasha.
Hi.
Hey. I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here.
Thanks for finally coming. You want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So I have my degree in social work. I am currently a therapeutic behavioral specialist, and I work at a residential treatment facility, so specializing in the treatment of things like BPD, suicidality, and eating disorders.
That's so cool.
Thank you.
That's super cool. And I thought she would be the perfect guest for today because today we're going to be talking about mental health. And as always, I always ask my guests, I always ask my followers on social media about topics before I record. And I wanted to know, what do people think about mental health? So I'm going to read some of the comments before we get into it. Somebody said, you can't do nothing if your mental isn't right. Another person said they feel like generational curse need to be broken for both males and females and get help so we all can heal from our trauma that we are suppressing. It's time for clarity so we don't pass it down to our kids.
Yes.
Definitely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Another person said mental health needs to be taken more serious. Growing up in a Black household, if you felt depressed, they'll say something like, depress those dishes.
That's true. That's true, though.
Versus asking questions or getting a person some help.
Uh-huh.
Another person said, I think it should be normalized in the sense of everything is in a diagnosis or means for medication. Stress is normal, anxiety is normal, highs and lows are normal, and it doesn't equate to mental illness. If it's life, either way, both needs to be addressed, and how we deal with any of these is the important thing.
Mm-hmm. I disagree a little bit.
With that last one?
Yeah, just a little bit.
And then I got a few more. All mental health resources should be free for everyone.
Wow.
Essential, something that should be evaluated daily. You can't be great to anyone if you're not great to yourself. Take care of you.
Yes.
It is so important, more important than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think?
Honestly, I love the one that said that they feel like it should be like a daily assessment or a daily check-in.
Yeah.
Because there's ebbs and flows of life.
Mm-hmm.
So how you feel from one moment to the next changes.
Yeah.
Especially like if there's big things that happen in your life, like a death,
Mm-hmm.
a birth.
Mm-hmm. Right, postpartum.
Yes, postpartum. Just depression in general, like losing someone in your family.
Losing a job.
Yeah, or gaining a job. Like sometimes like new successes are hard to deal with.
Yeah, that's true. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah, especially if you don't come from that type of background or you're not used to having certain things. Like
Yeah.
you should. I promote therapy for like everything.
I
Anything
agree.
in your life, you should see a therapist or talk to someone about it.
I agree. Mental health is definitely important, especially in a Black community. They say about 25% of African Americans seek mental health treatment compared to 40% of white Americans. The Black community is 20% more likely to experience serious mental health issues. And I feel like I like the comment of the girl saying, like, growing up in a household, you better depress them dishes or whatever she said. I feel like
comments like that, literally,
just like belittling, kind of like downplaying what somebody is going through.
Yes.
And I feel like in the Black community, we don't go to therapy enough. I personally went to therapy. I went to therapy back in 2020 before I got married because I just wanted to, I didn't want to go into a marriage not healing certain parts of myself.
and then
bleeding on someone that didn't cut me.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's okay to be transparent about your mental state and go to therapy and seek help. But Black people, I feel like we let our pride get in the way. Like, oh, I'm all right. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't going to go see no therapist. I'm not about to go talk to no stranger and tell them about my problems. What can they tell me? Like, that's how a lot of people.
But that's learned. So it's really, obviously, once you're not responsible for trauma that was like inflicted on you, but as you become an adult, and when you become an adult, it is your responsibility to heal that trauma.
Yeah.
Because you are an adult.
Yeah.
So it's time for you to figure out why you do certain things instead of saying, I don't know. I'm a big person, like, a proponent for not saying I don't know when you do certain things, because if you don't know, you're going to keep doing it. So figure out what it is that you don't know.
Or saying, that's just how I am.
Yeah.
Just because you've been that way don't mean it's okay.
When you say that's just how I am, it gives you permission to not fix it.
Gives you permission
Yeah,
to
like
just
this
keep
is my identity, just like my eyes are brown, right?
Yeah.
I can't change that, but you can. And honestly, in Black households, like the things like the press your dishes, it's things that they've learned throughout generations, because we've had to be so strong and resilient, which is why we have so much generational trauma dating back to slavery, right?
Yep.
However, we now have come to realize that that's super toxic, and now we're having all these kids who are the new generation who are leading the rates as suicidal attempts and ideation. And, you know, just things that come from unhealed parents.
Yeah,
they trauma children. Yeah.
I think that's so true.
Because it's been minimized. And there's been so much invalidation around having a mental health crisis or mental health concern, or being extremely sad, and then people not realizing this isn't just sadness. Like the frequency and the time frame of it is lasting so long. Like, this person is depressed, and they should probably seek help.
Exactly. And then you got people that's really diagnosed with like bipolar or just certain things.
Yeah,
they won't take their medicine or won't just do the proper things to take care of themselves because they're embarrassed. But it's like it's nothing to be embarrassed about. You know, like your mental health is everything. So I think as a Black community, we can be better at pushing one another to go to therapy, pushing one another to have those uncomfortable conversations. You know what I mean? Because it makes a difference.
Things that aren't talked about are going to keep reoccurring.
Yeah, because it's not being addressed.
Yes. So then stuff that you suppress, like, it only leads to suffering. But things that you suppress, you're going to see come out in maybe your children or other family members. It's just like, y'all don't talk about it. You don't know that your cousin has also been hurt in this way. Y'all not talking. Y'all could be healing and supporting each other, but nobody's talking. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing in the Black community.
When nobody like, how you doing? Oh, I'm good.
I'm good.
Are you really good? Like, how's your mental?
I'm okay. Like, you know, I get through it. And people can mistake being resilient and getting through things, because Black people are extremely resilient, but they mistake being that resilient and getting through things as them not needing help or not being worthy of help. Like, I can do this on myself, like by myself, or this is a bad thing to need someone else on the outside, right? But therapists are so great because they are not in your life. They aren't biased in that way, right? Sometimes it takes a little maneuvering. And figuring out, like, I went to this therapist, that doesn't work for me, but that doesn't mean therapy doesn't work for me. That person just
might not have been.
And people give up so fast.
They do.
Or like, I'm going to do therapy for 2 months. I recommend therapy for a minimum 6 months. But you really should, like, especially if there's trauma to unpack, don't put a timeline on that.
Just keep going until you feel like, okay, I feel better. I feel healed. You know what I mean? That's how I was. Like, I stopped going once I felt better.
Like you felt like you could cope on your own. And
it's like I didn't need her anymore. Exactly.
Same. I've been in therapy as well.
I was going to say, have you been to therapy?
And I was in therapy in college. Like, college.
Oh, really?
Yeah, college was it's not something I really talked about. Because again, like, that's kind of the type of family I grew up in. Not that I was
seeing private.
It's not that I was invalidated for my feelings. It was just more so that we just didn't talk about it. So I went to therapy in college. A lot of it had to do with having an older sister and us being like so academically focused. And then going to the same school, like, and trying to figure out who I was, like, beneath that. And trying to live up to expectations. And trying to find out what are my expectations.
Who are you?
So that's why I ended up going.
What did you learn from going to therapy? Like, did you learn anything new about yourself?
I honestly, and I can you cuss on there? Honestly, I learned that I genuinely didn't give a fuck about other people's plans for me. That my plan for me mattered the most, and I had to go on my own path in order for me to actually stick to it.
Yeah.
Like to get through college, like finding out that like no, I don't want to stick with nursing anymore. Even though like I'm halfway through this.
Yeah, that's not what I want to do.
I want to do social work, right? So I just, I think it taught me that I need to put my mental health and me and my standards and my expectations above anybody else's.
That's good. That's good. We all need to be like that.
Yeah,
Because I feel like in the Black community too, your parents is like, go to college.
they have this whole plan.
And they mean well, but that might not be what you want to do in this whole time. I know a lot of people that all their life they just been trying to please their parents.
Yeah.
And it's like, is that what you want for yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And sometimes they get to the point where they don't even know because they've done it so long for other people.
I've done what everybody else wanted me to do for so long.
It's like, what do I want to do?
Yeah. Yeah, that's real. When I went to therapy helped me realize that I was suppressing a lot of things. And I didn't know it until she told me, like, you seem like you suppress a lot of things, and then once you can't, she was telling me it's not good to suppress because you'll blow up.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Blowing up at the little things.
yeah, because I was suppressing so much and not saying, hey, this is how I feel about X, Y, and Z. Like I wasn't speaking my truth enough.
Yeah.
So that's what therapy taught me, like to not suppress. And my therapist helped me see a lot of different perspectives and other people's sides of things. Like,
Oh, I love that. I love that you
Yeah.
said that.
yeah.
Because what I specialize in is DBT, or dialectical behavioral therapy. And we always talk about finding the kernel of truth in other people's perspective. And it's literally not for them. It's solely for you to understand the situation in its entirety. And also, like, to figure out what do you want to do with the issue. Is it you versus them and the issue, or is it y'all versus the issue?
Yeah.
Right.
I
So,
love that.
yeah, I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, I would be like, it would be a lot of times you'd be in therapy. I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so in how I feel and how I
Yes.
see it and how I think it should be.
Like you're an emotion mind, right? So you're not in reality. 'Cause it's like your perception is already skewed. So it's like how I see it and everything you do afterwards. I'm seeing it through this lens of like, because I feel some type of way. So I'm seeing it through like, oh, you're doing that because of this.
Because,
The whole time, like you don't even know what. Yeah.
it could be something totally different. And I feel like that's another thing too, like mental health. Sometimes when you're dealing with other people, you can't be so quick to take certain things personal. Some things don't even have nothing to do with you at all.
Yeah,
You know
some
what I
things
mean?
are really bigger than you.
Yeah, some people really are fighting personal things within themselves.
Definitely.
That's why I think therapy is important, so that you can go and heal and release the trauma and things that you might not want to talk about with a family or a friend.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be surprised, for real. I just wish that we, as the Black community, would push that more, you know, would encourage one another more to go to therapy, to seek help, because people crashing out, like,
Definitely.
people are crashing out, like, people out here losing it. Like, I was on TikTok the other day and I seen a 12-year-old killed her 8-year-old cousin over an iPhone at their grandparents' house. Did y'all hear about that?
No, I did not.
And it's like, and then when she, I think she suffocated her
Wow.
with a pillow, and then after she did that, she propped her up as if she was asleep. Like, she positioned her to make her look like she was just asleep.
That's real.
For a 12-year-old to do that, it's like, what's going on?
She needs some, she needs to see a psychiatrist. Like, I hope that's what's recommended. Cause
What's
that's
going on?
Yeah.
I think they giving her life. But just stuff like that, it's just like, it's getting crazier and crazier out here. Like, we not paying attention to our kids. We not
Definitely
reading. We not looking into certain things. We not
like
watching
the
these kids.
Yeah.
Just taking that time out to spend time with kids, and so where they don't even have time to even do stuff like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
definitely.
Like, it's just a different time. And that really touched me. Like, wow, a 12-year-old could do something like that to your cousin?
I think I kind of became a little desensitized. Yeah, desensitized is the right word. I think I've become a little desensitized to it because I do work with kids as young as 9 up to 17. And some of the things that they have done to be in residential quite literally put, it's like crazy.
Yeah,
or like,
I
to
can
the
only imagine.
average person, you would be like, they did what?
Mm-hmm.
They're doing what? And for them, especially because it's a lot of Black kids there.
Yeah.
And you see the family unit come in because it's everything is about the family system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why things are happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see the family come in and you're like, you have a little bit more empathy because you're like, I kind of see why he does
Doing what he doing.
I kind of see
it makes
why
a little
she's
more
doing
sense.
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really does. Because and a lot of it, once they're in family therapy sessions, it's so much as like maybe coming out that it's like they're suppressing so much.
Mm-hmm.
The mom didn't done that, so she didn't taught her daughter to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's here at residential and, can't live at home because of the behaviors are so intense due to the trauma.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. What do you have any advice for anybody out there that's, seeking any type of mental illness or just any advice period on mental health, like and in the field that you're in, like
Yeah. I think my biggest advice is honestly like just pushing what you said and normal people who are like proponents for mental health checks is to honestly go and get assessed by a professional.
Mm-hmm.
Know that they're not your enemy. It is going to be you and that professional versus
Mm-hmm.
the issues that maybe the little boy or the little girl in you never got to discuss and is impacting who you are as an adult. Because like I said, even though you may not have caused your trauma, it is your responsibility ultimately to heal it so that you're not breaking new homes for new children, like through your relationships or friendships, like just being a nasty hearted person because of things that you've been through. So it's your responsibility to heal. So I say that to anybody, especially adults out there, and especially if you have children, it is your responsibility to heal whatever it is that you couldn't talk to your mama or your daddy about. You are now an adult. You need to heal it.
Yeah, it's no excuse.
It's no excuse.
It's no excuse.
It's no excuse.
Because a lot of our parents are, this was how I grew up and my mom did it. And it's like, you 50 years old talking about what your mom did.
And every generation, honestly, ultimately is trying to do better than the last.
Right.
However, just because you're doing better than the last generation, it does not mean that you're not creating trauma for the generation
Exactly, after you. Yeah.
So you need to, just because you're not doing that one thing that your mama used to do to you that really like messed you up, it doesn't give you like free range to just like not heal yourself from that trauma, because you're probably doing something else that now your daughter or your son is gonna be like, I'm not gonna do that to my kid, but then they doing something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're just passing it down.
Yeah, in a different way. Like it just shape shifts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. What I want to say is that your mental health is more important than someone else's perception of you, making everybody else happy, and your to-do list. Always remember God is bigger than the problem you have. Sometimes he will break you down to make you stronger. I feel like as Black people, we always feel like we got to be so strong. We got to be so strong. If you are not in a good place, that doesn't always make you weak. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be honest. And if you're not okay, you're not okay.
You're not okay.
And it's okay to not be okay. But the bigger thing is how you going to pick yourself back up? What are you going to do to be better, to feel better, to continue to be better moving forward?
Yes.
You know what I mean? I feel like that's something that we need to shed more light on. It's okay to seek help. It's okay to not be okay. Just don't get so stuck in not being okay.
Yes.
Try to pick yourself up. Try to do things to make yourself better. Don't forget to pray. Even when things are going good, still continue to pray.
Yeah.
Like pray on your good and your bad days. Not just your bad days. Don't pray when things are worried. Don't only pray when the storm is coming and things are bad and it don't look too good. Pray when things are good too.
Yes. And stop blaming the devil for things that God is putting you like in your way in a place, because he knows what you need, right?
Yeah.
So stop everything. Like the devil does not have free range to us. So unless God takes his hands off of you, because you just really won't learn your lesson. But a lot of things that are hard for us, they come from God because they're meant to make more out of us in the situation. He has plans to prosper us, okay?
Yeah.
Not to harm
Say that
us.
on Prosperity Podcast.
Yes.
God has plans to prosper us.
Not to harm us.
No, seriously. Trials and tribulations. And
Yes.
tough times don't last long. Like, that's a real thing. And I feel like sometimes, we live in a world now where people do be so quick to push, I got anxiety, I got this, I got that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just need some healing.
Or they could really have those particular diagnoses, but what are you doing
To
with
make
that?
things better.
Yes.
Yeah,
Are you taking
seeking
your
any type of
medication?
help? Yeah.
Are you seeing your psychologist or your psychiatrist or your therapist? Are you seeing
Or your
them?
friend, or
Are
you
you
going to
taking their
church?
recommendation?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you need to do all of these things in combination to get out of those spaces.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be your diagnoses.
Exactly.
It can be a
Yeah.
part of you.
Yeah.
It can be a part of you.
That's a good one. It doesn't make you.
Yeah.
It doesn't define who you are as a person. I like that. I also had a recommendation on a book to read. It's called Whole Again by Jackson Mackenzie. It's a book about healing your heart and rediscovering your true self after toxic relationships and emotional abuse.
Ooh, lots of people need that.
Yeah.
Because y'all be waiting to see how red that flag is going to get. And I'm going to need y'all to start healing yourself so y'all can stop attracting the same energy.
Yes.
Stop making the same soul ties.
Yes.
And the same mistakes. Because y'all, honestly, I'll be like, am I the one who don't have 20/20, or is it most of the people out there? Because why are you dating the same person just in a different coat, a different skin?
Just
but it's
keep
the
going
same
through
person.
same cycles.
But it's because you're the same person.
Yeah, maybe it's not
Fix
them
that.
that's the problem. You're the problem.
Or both of y'all, but fix
Yeah.
it. Because you keep going after the same type of person because you are unhealed.
I was just about to say that. Like, I think people do that because they don't take the time to heal themselves.
They don't.
So they don't know no better.
Yeah.
In a sense. You know what I mean?
And especially with dating in general,
Yeah.
y'all have to start asking these people questions
Some real
that
questions.
matter to y'all.
Don't
So-
wait until you
why do
slept
you
with
know-
him, had a baby with him.
No, seriously, but why do you only know his favorite color is gray and then he pennies the Xbox 17 hours out? What is wrong with you? What do you mean you didn't know that he was a mama's boy and he wasn't gonna take care of your kids? What do you mean you didn't know that?
Because
Y'all
all you
start
know
asking
was
some
that he took you on a
questions.
date and bought you a Louis bag, so y'all was cool. Everything was cool.
Everything was snazzy.
No,
It was the ex-girlfriend problem. It wasn't your man problem.
Yeah,
Girl.
you gotta get to really know people, and not just in relationships, friendships too.
Very true.
Like, a lot of people really be bonding off trauma bonds.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
definitely.
And then what about when you healed? You be like,
Ugh.
be that person.
Yeah. Or especially because a lot of people just give their bodies away.
Yeah.
No judgment. But it's just giving their bodies away and really creating these soul ties with these people and not being able to like kick it, especially because they are trauma bonded because they haven't healed something in themselves.
Yep.
So
Yep. It just, you got to get your mental right, because you'll have, if you don't get your mental right, you don't heal yourself, you'll have all these unhealthy trauma bonded relationships.
Very
right?
true.
And I like to be around people that are like-minded people that can help me. You know what I mean? And when I say help me get closer to God, help me with my mental health, or you know what I mean? And
Like
they'll
elevate
help
you.
me, keep me accountable. Like, elevate me, uplift me. So I think that's why mental health is really important, because if you don't have if your mental ain't right, how can you help somebody else? How can you do anything if you're not right up here?
seriously.
You know what I mean? So
And that's why y'all have to stop having kids when y'all are not healed. There's no rule book that says that you need to have a kid by the time you're 25 or before you're 30, because sometimes you need that extra space to, one, be financially stable, but to also really be mentally stable, so that you aren't putting that onto your kids, like being so aggressive verbally or physically, because that's what you are used to. Are you just so triggered?
My mom did it. My dad, like, that
It worked for me. I turned out right, but it's
Did
like,
you? Did you?
Did you?
I don't know, sis.
It's debatable.
And you got a lot of people that's like wanting to be a mom and putting the time limit on it. Maybe God didn't bless you in that area yet because you're not ready. God give us things when we're ready, not when we want them. You can put a time on things all you want. I had a time. I was supposed to get married September 25th, 2021. Found out I was pregnant, end up getting married April 25th, 2021, and have my baby September 21st, 2021. It's all about God's time, and God knows what's best for us more than we know ourselves. So, you know, you gotta trust God through it all, the good and the bad, and stop letting people put pressure on you in ways, and stop putting this time limit on things. Take things one day at a time. That'll help you mental a lot too. Just taking it one day at a time.
Just being one mindful, just being in the moment. Then y'all probably wouldn't be thinking so far in the future, like, oh, I need to have this, and I need to have these kids and stuff like that. And then y'all traumatizing
I'm on
kids.
Instagram, and so on her second kid. And
Yeah.
I gotta catch up. No, you don't need to catch up.
No, you really
need
don't.
to stay focused on your plate.
And what's for you?
Because what's for you? Yeah, okay. I was just about to say
it will
that.
always be for you.
It will always be for you.
And you don't want to. I literally, my heart breaks like every time I deal with these kids, who maybe their parents didn't even mean to do the things that had been done to their child. But they were so unhealed, and just having these children or bringing them into homes where it was toxic.
Yeah.
And then their children are so messed up behind the trauma. And have lived a life with basically zero validation.
Yeah. And then they go out into the world.
And then they hurt other people who are hurt.
Yep.
And then they have kids who are hurt.
It just passed down. That's so deep.
And it honestly, having a kid, like, changes so much about you.
It sure does.
So if you are already in a space where, like, mentally, like, you got things going on, heal it. Like, it is okay to start talking about it and to figure out a plan. Like, sometimes you will go to your therapist and they will listen to you and then tell you, like, hey, find out your hobbies, and they're like, you need to do this 2 times a week. You might be like, that's not gonna work. It's just this. As you start doing it and you start creating new, healthier habits in your life, you're noticing that your vision is more clear. Like, the clarity is there, right? You can hear God more clearly, and His plans for you. You're not envious of other people.
Yes,
like, you're working on yourself. Like, you're not worried about the next person
else doing.
because, or you're genuinely, like, happy for them because you're genuinely happy for yourself.
And you live really working on yourself.
Definitely.
And I've had to stop being friends and associating myself with a lot of people because of that right there. They couldn't be happy for me in my season because of what their season was looking
what it was looking like.
Yeah. So
not knowing that around the corner, their plans, like, your season is coming. It's just, it looks different.
Yeah.
You need people to, like, love you and be with you through these various seasons, like, throughout your life. Because everything is not going to be 9 times out of 10. Especially, like, as friends, like, when it's peaches and cream for me, it might not be for you, and vice versa.
Exactly.
Right? But that don't mean I'm not going to love you.
Cheer you on or, like, lift you.
Yeah.
I agree. So take y'all mental health seriously. And before we leave, I would like to ask you, how was your mental health?
I am in a really good space.
That's good.
I mean, of course, you know, but I had my second and last kid almost 2 years ago, and I would say within the last, like, 8 months, so it took about close to a year and a half to really, like, mentally, like, adjust to the fact that now I have 2 kids. And just the things you can't change, like the postpartum depression and things, like the things that other people can't see. I battled really hard with my daughter, but I would say, like, I'm in a really healthier spot than I was, because it was getting really dark for a minute after her. But I would say I'm in a way more healthier space right now, just trying to focus on getting back in the gym and, like, just losing some weight to get back to how I really,
because that's really important. And you know, they say it takes 2 years to get back to,
and it does.
Yourself.
They're not
I
lying.
agree.
And especially the second time, I feel like it's, at least my experience, everybody's experience is different. The second time, I feel like on my mental was way harder than the first time. It was way harder.
See that. Well, I'm glad you're in a better space.
Thank you, sis.
I think people should take postpartum more serious too. Men, partners, dads should take your wife, your baby mother, whatever.
Take it, lay down your kid with her. I don't care what she is. Like, you need to make sure mentally, like, she's okay.
Postpartum is
so that your kids are okay. And you cannot control it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
you can't.
And if you're not okay, you can't pour from an empty cup. So make sure that
That's a word.
People take postpartum serious. That's a part of mental health as well.
Yes.
And I don't think we talk about that enough in the Black community. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody just having kids, but having kids comes with a lot, and sometimes it drains you. You know what I mean?
It's become like an accessory to people. And that's why I like strongly urge people, like, just please, like, they are little humans.
Yeah,
Like
and they didn't ask to be here.
They did not ask to
So
be
it's
here.
not fair to take your frustration out on them. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm very communicative when I need a break. I tell my husband, I tell my village.
Yeah.
I need a break.
Like, I need a break. I need
a break.
to...
Especially being a stay-at-home mom. I am a stay-at-home mom. I think people look at me like, oh, I'll just be at home twirling my hair. No, I be fighting for my life, y'all. I be fighting for life.
Not lying.
Like, being a stay-at-home mom, you have your good days, you have your bad days, just like with anything else. But it can be a lot.
Yes.
So I think, you know, guys, fathers, husbands, you guys should take that more serious. Like, make sure that you're pouring into your women and that you're, you know, giving them those breaks.
Especially if you want
really
multiple kids out of
Hello?
that person.
Hello?
Like, stop asking for more kids, and you not taking
All
care
you're
of
doing is pumping them in her. Nothing else.
Like, y'all have to
and that's why families aren't staying together either. They're not building on solid foundations. You know what I mean?
we're blessed in that sense that we really have husbands, fiancés that are really active.
Yeah,
and really want to be where they are, and
really want to be
really
in their kids' lives. Yeah,
because I would say shout out to Dwayne. He took my mental health so serious. He was through everything, like the ups and downs, because it was frequent, like minutes and minutes. Like I would have thought I had BPD, but he took it so serious and was so like in a space of catering to me for months.
That's good.
That's so good. They're out here. Stop picking the same. Heal yourself, and you will not keep picking the same dude.
Okay,
you will get you a healed guy.
Yes, and that's important. Comment down below about mental health. How do you feel about mental health? If you have any tips that you want to share with me or anyone else in our community. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave me a review. Leave your girl a review. If you listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, I don't care, wherever it is you see it at, leave your girl a review. I'm trying to go up, y'all. I'm trying to go up. So please leave me a review. Don't forget to follow me at Samia Mia on Instagram. Where can they find you at on Instagram? You can tell me your Instagram.
LoveTasha_. I am private, but it's the same thing on TikTok or Twitter, which is open to the general public.
I will leave it on the screen so you guys can follow my girl. Thank you for coming. I'm so happy you were here.
We were waiting on this. Like, this took a minute, but this is my
this
girl.
is one of my college friends. We met in college. So when she said she went to therapy in college, I was like, oh, you did?
Yeah, I didn't talk about it.
I don't think I knew that. But, yes, I'm so happy that you're here.
Me too.
You guys, don't forget to live, love, and prosper. This is episode 1 of season 2. Your girl finally made it to season 2. Thank you, Jesus. But yeah, that is all for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
No, we said the same thing.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes.